Check. Hold up. It's your boy Young Cantu coming in once again. And Deontay Wilder putting on a show once again. Wow. This guy's a phenom. He wins by first round TKO. Well, actually, it was a straight knockout. It wasn't a TKO. He didn't beat the count. Dominic Breazeale failed to get up after 10 seconds. He was not in a position to continue. Deontay wins by first round knockout. His first round knockout since his win over Stavern. And Wilder just never ceases to amaze with that power, man. The only dude in the world who can end a fight within a short instance. One little slip up and it's over. Deontay wins via first round knockout over Dominic Breazeale. And Breazeale was a guy who came into the fight 20-1 with 18 KOs, had previously fought for a world title against the other best. Or should I say, it's safe to say he's the second best to Deontay Wilder, and that's Anthony Joshua. Anyways, Breazeale did fight him and lost, but he didn't learn. I mean, he learned, but he didn't show any improvement. He got knocked out in the first round by a more prolific fighter, and that's why I believe Deontay Wilder is better than Anthony Joshua, and he would knock him smoothed out. You know how it is. But yeah, your boy Young Cantu, we got a live post-fight reaction to this. Make sure you stay tuned. We're going to talk about potential matchups for Deontay Wilder moving forward. Stay tuned. It's your boy Young Cantu coming in once again. A big fight tonight. Deontay Wilder wins via first round knockout over Dominic Breazeale with a stunning right hand that basically slept Breazeale. Like, homeboy was out right when the punch landed, and Deontay Wilder knew the fight was over. Breazeale tried to get up, but he wasn't in a position to be steady by the 10 count. So that's why the ref stopped the fight. He didn't beat the 10 count, basically. Wilder separated Dominic Breazeale from his senses. And honestly, you know, there's like a metaphor out there, and it doesn't sound pleasant, but it was like a quick, harmless death, basically. Like, you know how back in the medieval times when they would put down people basically for their crime or whatever, they would, what was it, like the contraption that would cut their head off. I forgot what it was called. I mean, if you're watching this, you should know. But it was a quick death. Like Breazeale didn't get a chance to get started in the fight and take a punishment like he did against Anthony Joshua. So Wilder just ended it quick and with basically no pain. Breazeale was out on his feet, and you can tell by the time he recovered in his corner, he was okay. Like he didn't, like, he just got caught. He got caught. And that's what Deontay Wilder does. He catches fools. He catches people. He catches them with their right hand, and the game's over. Fight's over. I honestly, I didn't think he was gonna knock him out in the first round though. He knocked him out in the first round. Like he knocked that boy out in the first round. And this is Dominic Breazeale. He's 6'7", 250. He's a big dude. He played American football, all right? He played football. So he ain't no, excuse my language, but he ain't no puss. Straight up. This dude gets hit with a sledgehammer right hand by Deontay Wilder and is out, KO'd. You ain't getting up from that sack, bro. That's not a sack. That's a force field coming straight to your dome. And that's what Deontay Wilder did tonight. And that's why Anthony Joshua don't want no smoke with him. Let's be real. If a man can end a fight at any second, any instant, you don't want to get in the ring with him. So people out there is like, oh, why is the Wilder Joshua fight not happen? We know why it hasn't happened. Be realistic. There's a reason why it hasn't happened. It's because there's one man who possesses superpowers, and that's it. And it's God gifted. It's God gifted. You can't take away from that. You can't take away from Deontay Wilder's power, man. So, your boy Young Cantu coming in with a fight review. Thanks for tuning in. We just saw the heavyweight championship between Deontay Wilder and Dominic Breazeale, and it was quick work as Wilder gets rid of Breazeale in the first round with a 1-2 from out of this world. Deontay improves to 41-0-1, so he's still undefeated, and he now has 40 knockouts in his career. 40 knockouts. Like, do you know how hard it is to knock out one person? Like, I acknowledge people who get in the ring and put their life on the line, and go for it. And this guy has been knocking people out on a consistent basis for well over the last decade, and that's something to be commended. Deontay Wilder is the best American fighter since Evander Holyfield, and that's talking heavyweight division. We know the slickness and the defensive genius that Floyd Mayweather was able to bring to the game, but talking about fighters that fans want to watch and root for and cheer for, Deontay Wilder takes the cake. He's the most exciting fighter in all of boxing because of the power he possesses and his ability to end the fight at any second. And that's what it is. So when people come on here and go on the internet and say, which a lot of people aren't saying anymore, that Deontay Wilder's ducking Anthony Joshua, they're lunatics. Anthony Joshua don't want to get in the ring with Deontay Wilder because of the power he possesses. He landed that right hand flush on Dominic Breazeale, and I'm just watching the replay now because they're showing it on ESPN, and it's amazing to see, like, Breazeale just gets separated from his senses. Like, he got caught and oh my goodness, his head snapped back. Like, he had never felt that type of power in his life. Oh, damn. But like I said before, Deontay Wilder's power never ceases to amaze me. And it's understandable why Anthony Joshua does not want to get in the ring with him. There's no more excuses. What a fight from Deontay Wilder as he defends his WBC Heavyweight Championship. Now, Jim Gray was actually, he was pretty, he wanted to engage Wilder as far as making a fight happen between Wilder or Fury or some of the big names when he interviewed him in his post-fight interview. And I thought that was good because these are the fights we want to see. We want to see a rematch against Fury. We want to see a fight against Anthony Joshua. I think the Anthony Joshua-Deontay Wilder fight is more popular worldwide than a Tyson Fury rematch, only because that's the fight that's everybody's been clamoring for the last couple years. Everybody wants to see Deontay Wilder get in there with the monster that is Anthony Joshua. Why? Because we've seen what Joshua can do. He's a brute. And we know what Wilder can do. He can end fights with one punch. What a matchup for an undisputed championship, an undisputed title. Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua is the fight that needs to happen next. 100%. 100%, people. Lisa Redmond says, that was crazy. Wilder looked better. I mean, he looked better because he came out with the first round stoppage, of course. But, you know, Breazeale tried to impose his size on him, and he wasn't moving back much. He was kind of standing his ground, and he did not comprehend the power that Wilder had. He couldn't quantify it straight up. He did not expect that type of power from Wilder for him to just get laid out by a 1-2 straight in the middle of the ring. So it was basically a quick death for Dominic Breazeale. But hey, Dominic Breazeale got caught. He's still a heavyweight out there. He didn't take a lot of damage in this fight, you know, so that might be a good thing for his career. You know, Wilder just slept him. That's it. And that's how he does it. He does it quick and with no remorse. That's it. Game over. Damn. You guys are living in an era of heavyweight stardom. Deontay Wilder is one of the biggest and best heavyweight champions that America's had in the last decade. And mark my words, if he unifies against Anthony Joshua and defeats him, he could go down as one of the best American heavyweight champions of all time. And he would be comparable to an Ali at that point, considering the type of social influence he has, the community influence he has on America and on the world, what he stands for. So be grateful. We're living in a great time of American heavyweight stardom by way of Deontay Wilder. It's your boy Young Cantu. Shot Rods 1 says fly swatter. Yep, that's what he did, man. He took care of his mandatory challenger. Boom, with a 1-2. Crazy how he can end the fight like that. I'm telling you, I did not expect a first round knockout. I expected the fight to go a few rounds, but the way Breazeale came out, he came out to hold his ground and basically try to tell Wilder that he's the boss. And you can't fight like that against Deontay, because you'll get caught. You will get caught. You will run into something. And that's what happened. He ran into some. But it's one of those things where if you continue to get amazed by some of the things a particular athlete or fighter does, then that's how you know that he's a special talent. This dude ends fights with one punch, and that's it. So Anthony Joshua, we respect him, whatever, but he ain't no real champion until he comes and fights the Bronze Bomber, and that's straight up. Because we all know who number one in the world is, and that's Deontay Wilder, 100%. You don't have to think anything more than, yeah, exactly, where are the haters now? Counter punchers, where you at now? That's what I'm saying. New media told him. And it's crazy because he represents us. He represents the people, the Americans. That's right. You know, and Anthony Joshua, he's got a lot of tools. He's very polished. He's very technical. He's got good power. But right now, match them up right now, we know who's winning. So let's see who takes the fight then. We know who's winning. So that fight has to happen, straight up. OG Gamer Krug says, as soon as he finishes Joshua, what can anyone say? You know, as soon as he finishes Joshua, he becomes in the discussion of TBE, straight up. And I'm not going to throw that phrase around, but that's the truth. And because, you know, let's be real. And he's a true people's champ, too. He's a true people's champ. And it's crazy. But I do believe that people will still come at him for the Fury fight. He still has to beat Fury in order to be the unblemished. He would be undisputed with the win over Joshua, no doubt about it, because he would have all the belts. But the claim to the lineage is through Tyson Fury, and that does hold some weight considering he has not lost and he is also considered a champion. But he would have to rematch Fury to really become, like, even it's not like, it's just levels, you know, like levels. There's only one bronze bomber, man, for real. Like, if you were to beat Joshua and then Fury subsequent to the Joshua win, he is for sure, like, 100%, like, no discussion, no argument against him being the best American heavyweight champion ever, straight up. He's beaten everybody. He's got. This dude's got 40 knockouts. 40 knockouts. One of the Watson brothers, like I said, what's up to them, and they were kind enough to share their thoughts on camera one time, and he's like, I was like, why? How come Wilder's all wild though? Like, what about that? And he was like, one of the Watson brothers said, he's wild, but nobody knocks everybody out. Like, he's knocking everybody out. Like, nobody does that, yo. Like, nobody knocks everybody out. So, I'm sorry. You got to get in the ring with that boy. Lisa Rudman said he dropped Fury 2 times. Fury ducked him. Yeah, and that's why, you know, people believe that Wilder's a better fighter because he was able to drop him twice. And that gave him enough credibility to a draw. Like, other than that, Fury outboxed him. But to be able to knock down the most slick heavyweight boxer in the world, that's cred. Straight up. And it's like Freddy Krueger, but salute to you, knowledge fam, for sure, man. We just getting started over here, yo. Like, I'm barely starting this little live stream. But make sure to subscribe to the channel, man. And we in here. Deontay Wilder coming in, taking care of business, knocking his opponent out in the first round. He really swatted that fly tonight. I'm pumped. And like, I can't get over, like, the aura that Deontay Wilder brings, man. Like, do you not know that this man has superpowers? Like, this man has a superpower that nobody else has in the heavyweight division. You know what that power is? That's that one punch. And that's why nobody wants smoke with him, for real. Bomb squad, let's go. Julian Ward, let's get it. So, that was amazing. There's no doubt who the number one is. I got tired of these haters. Where are you now? For real. For real. And it's so awesome to see, like, a fighter that, like, you can root for. Like, Deontay Wilder is a fighter you can root for because what he stands for and the hardships he came up on. And, like, how he translates that into the ring. He represents so much to so many people. It doesn't matter where you're from. And that's what he is. He's the real deal. Like, I'm pumped, for real. Like, I'm so, like, yeah, like, and boxing is supposed to be fun. Like, no disrespect to Mayweather. We saw what he brought to the table financially, defensively, from a technical standpoint. But he put fights in a lull. Like, Deontay Wilder goes in and brings excitement back. He brings the excitement back to the heavyweight division and to the sport of boxing, straight up. And that's why we're fans of his, straight up. But yeah, man, like, we in here, your boy Young Cantu. If you know me, you know I've been reporting on the sport for the last couple years, and you know who I was with, but now we're repping Airshow, and that's how we do it, because we're number one on the block. Joshua was hoping the knockdown to come after round 7, for real. For real, Vanyo. That's true. Derek Rose says Deontay laid his ass out like a starfish. 100. 100. Dude, big fight, man. And I was expecting the fight to at least go 5 rounds. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, if I were to put some money on it, which I didn't, I would have put it for like a 6th or 7th, 8th round for Deontay. But homeboy got him out in the first round, dude. It's crazy. So, what do you guys think? Luis Ortiz went into the ring after the fight to acknowledge Deontay. Do you think he should give him a rematch? Do any of y'all believe that Luis Ortiz can give him a run for his money like he did in the first fight? I don't really know. I don't think so. Deontay Wilder, he's a gentleman. Yeah, he's a gentleman, but he's a gangster in the ring, for real. And, you know, I have so much on my mind because, like, you got to speak it, believe it, receive it, right? So, it's like, why are these people criticizing Deontay for saying he's trying to catch a body when you have to go in there in the ring with that mentality? You have to go in the ring to try to rip somebody's head off. And if you're not going to win. And that's what separates him from a lot of fighters too, is he don't care. He trying to put that boy out, and that's it. So people trying to criticize when he says these controversial statements. Like, think about he has to go in with that mentality, and he doesn't literally mean oh, I'm trying to. He's not gonna You saw him after the fight. He said, "I wish Breazeale get home to his family." Blah 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 blah. We said things that we mean, but that's the mentality he goes into the ring with. He's a killer. And that's how he makes his bread, and that's why he's so exciting. So don't take it to heart when he says these type of things. Oh, I'm trying to catch a body. I'm trying to catch a body. Homeboy's not trying to catch a body. He's trying to retain his title, and that's everything to him. That's more than his whole life. So, yeah, like, these haters, man. So it's gonna be completely different with Ortiz if there's a rematch. How so, Vanyo? I think Ortiz, he's getting older, and we've seen Wilder improve in his rematch fights, like he did against Tavern. So, if I know what you're saying, I think you're right. I think he might not make it as a competitive of a fight. Wilder bulked Hulk. Yeah, Wilder came in a little heavier, a little stronger, a little more built, about 11 more pounds of mass. I think that serves him well because I think he retains the reflexes and obviously the power, and it might even enhance his power naturally. Like, if he comes in a little heavier, we've seen fighters who go up in weight, they have more on their punches. So Wilder might be served well at, above 220, 225, ish. 225, maybe no more than 230, because that might give him a little bit of, it might hold back some of his athleticism. You don't want to lose that. So his athleticism and power is what makes him special. So like 220, 225, around there, he's unbeatable, straight up. You have to sell the fight. His opponents don't have the swag to pull them in. Do you think he can beat Joshua? I 100%, I know he can beat Joshua. I believe he beats Joshua. I believe he catches Joshua just like he did Breazeale. Because if you look at the styles, and they always say it's cliche, styles make fights. But Wilder had trouble against a boxer, a guy who can slip and slide and move and stay out of range and not engage as much, right? Joshua, who can box, he's not no Tyson Fury. He stays in there and holds his ground and throws compact left hooks and right hands. But if the fight is fought in the range of Deontay Wilder, Joshua has no chance. Because Wilder will control the range, and if Joshua comes in to his wheelhouse, however he wants, Wilder's going to tag him as he comes in. Because Wilder's rangy, and he's got power, and he's just a beast. So Joshua's best chance is to work on his conditioning and try to make it a boring-ass fight and outbox Wilder for 12. But that's impossible because Tyson Fury couldn't do that. So Joshua is too slow. Yeah, and that's one thing that off camera I said what's up to JD's, Wilder's trainer. I was like, yo, Joshua don't have the reflexes Deontay has. He ain't as quick as Deontay. Deontay's too quick. He's too reflexive. That's it. And he agreed with me. So, but there was one thing that I wanted to bring up. Oh yeah, ABCs exactly. Joshua too slow. 1-2s. That's it. That's all he needs is the 1-2. You saw what the 1-2 did for him against Breazeale. And Breazeale's a guy who went 7 rounds with Joshua, and they have similar styles in the sense that they're big, brute heavyweights trying to come forward and impose their size, right? Joshua a little more technical, but he wants to impose his size. Wilder's a nightmare for the style of Anthony Joshua. But I will say this. There's going to be a reign in the heavyweight division with Deontay Wilder for the next few years, for sure. This dude he's something special, man. But within the next couple years, and we'll see how everything plays out, there's going to be some interesting fights down the road. And there's only one name that I'm thinking of that can challenge Wilder, and it might not be today, but it could be within the next 2 to 3 years down the road. And his name is F.A. Ajagba. But tonight's not his night. Tonight is Deontay's night. But one can only think about some of the fights down the road that can take place that can surpass anything we could imagine as far as some of these guys' abilities and stardoms. So Joshua isn't going to be on the back foot, and Wilder has no chin. They have the same power, but one has better boxing IQ. Wilder wouldn't beat him, and Fury allowed himself to get clipped playing from 3K the Boss. That's an interesting take, 3K. But we got to see the fight, man. Joshua has conditioning issues, and that's one thing that we know Wilder doesn't have, because Wilder's power carries throughout 12 rounds. So that's a good point you bring up, but I would counter it with exactly what I just said. Joshua also beat him when he was a green with a fever in 16 fight. I just want to see the fight. He will only reign if he keeps fighting bums. Well, I mean, bums is a loose term, and I understand when people say it because they don't really mean some of these guys are bums, because they're obviously heavyweight professional fighters. They can't be bums. But relative to what you're saying as far as championship level, these fights need to happen. The only way we'll know is if they get in the ring. And who cares about talking shit about why the fight isn't coming down? Oh, Joshua ducked Wilder. Whatever. We got over it. But now we want to see the fight. And if you think you're the best, we got to make it happen. Bro, F.A. the Nigerian Nightmare is a beast. He hits hard, but he is slow. And that's one thing that people have been saying. And that F.A. is too slow. Like, he's not quick enough. That could, I mean, yeah, against Wilder right now, you can't be slow, man. You got to be reflexive. You got to be defensive. You got to be everything. Because if you get caught, it's over. Ortiz, because he knows Fury is 2 away. Or Ortiz, because he knows. Bro, F.A. Let me say this about F.A., though. He's still developing. He's only about 24 years old, I believe. But the criticism about him being slow, I would just counter that with he has great timing. And I've seen it firsthand. He has great timing. He knows how to set up his punches and use his distance. And that's one thing that Deontay Wilder does. That's a consistent aspect to their game. So when you look at it in that terms, it's going to be very interesting to see how that fight would play out from a distance perspective. Because FA doesn't just put his head down and come forward. He's been doing that against lesser opposition, but he wants to use his jab and range his opponent up too, so he can land something within that range as well. And that's why that fight is stylistically a great fight. Wilder will have the reflexes. He would have to outquick him, but FA would hold his ground and keep distance as well with his jab. And the thing about FA is he jabs down to the body. He jabs down to the body too. So some great fights coming up. F.A. Ajagba, I'm a big fan of his, but Deontay forever will reign as one of the all-time fan favorites in heavyweight division history. He stops Dominic Breazeale in the first round after Breazeale was unable to continue out on his feet. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but when I see somebody get clocked and then just go limp, that just makes you like react some type of way that it's like, what the dude, that power is out of this world. So we know who the most exciting fighter in boxing is. There's no doubt about it, and his stardom's going up. Anthony Joshua needs to take the fight against Deontay Wilder if he can get past Andy Ruiz. That's a big if. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Anthony Joshua after this fight. The way Deontay Wilder was able to clean Breazeale. There's going to be high expectations for Anthony Joshua in this fight against Ruiz. And it's going to be a lot to handle. So we'll see what happens on June 1st in New York at Madison Square Garden, as Anthony Joshua will defend his title against Andy Ruiz. And Ruiz, I mean, this, you never know, man. This is the circumstances of the heavyweight division. And all it takes is one punch, as we saw tonight. I'm so pumped. So many big fights to be made. Derek Rose says OG Fury would get knocked out in the second time if they fight. And let's be real, says OG Gamer Krug. Fury got a generous 10 count. Seems like he was saying. Damn straight, AJ would get smashed. Jaron Smith. OG Gamer says facts, Rose. AJ is too big, and no Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury versus AJ would be a good fight. All these fools need to fight each other. And I was pissed that the Luis Ortiz Anthony Joshua fight didn't take place. But hey, motherfuckers are ducking each other. Excuse the language. But we know one person who ain't ducking anybody. And that's Deontay Wilder. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Did you guys catch that the WBC president, Mauricio Sulaiman, embraced Deontay Wilder after the fight and basically made peace with him, it seemed like. And Deontay, he gave him some love too. So that was cool to see, considering Sulaiman just criticized Wilder for saying he wanted to catch a body. At the end of the day, we know who's the king, and that's Deontay Wilder. Big performance tonight. One can only imagine the big fights down the road. Hopefully that Joshua fight happens late 2019. That would be best case scenario if Joshua were to come past Ruiz. But don't sleep on Andy Ruiz. I'm one of the people that do believe he has a chance with his style, him getting low, staying on the inside with his quick hands and reflexes can give Joshua some issues. The reflexes, that's what it is. They don't know. All it takes is one punch. AJ tires out fast and his chin is suspect. Exactly. Thank you, Robert. Robert Weston. Thank you. And that's one of the reasons why I believe Wilder beats him. And he might beat him within the first 4. Don't quote me. We know AJ has had some conditioning issues. He carries a lot of weight. And I was at a media workout that Deontay Wilder had in Los Angeles right before his Luis Ortiz fight. And some of the people from Wilder's camp were saying the way Wilder beats Joshua is because he has more conditioning. He's an athlete. It's different when you're in that box, that ring with someone like him. He's like a raptor. He's like a velociraptor. I mean, this dude, I'm telling you, he's out of this world. Ain't you all curious what all haters gonna post on YouTube about Wilder? Yeah, I mean, they really can't say nothing anymore though. They can't say nothing. Like they can't say nothing. Now Breazeale, I thought Breazeale would come into this fight a little bit more measured and maybe a little bit more mature, considering he fought for a world title against Joshua. I thought he would be a little more cautious, but he came in with the game plan that he was going to be the boss, he was going to stand his ground, and as we saw today, please learn something that you saw. That doesn't work against Wilder. You're not going to just be able to hold your ground and be the big man and be the big boy trying to push him back. Bro, you're going to run into something. You're going to run into something, and that's what happened. Yeah, they ducking, man. Like, and that's the thing. Like, in the 1980s, right, in the late 90s, in the mid 90s, that whole era, heavyweight fighters didn't duck each other. Like, secondary contender status fighters would fight each other. The Tony Tuckers of the world, the Riddick Bowe's. Well, Riddick Bowe was a champion, but he went through a lot of tough fighters in that span. I mean, it was packed, that heavyweight division back in the 80s and 90s. And fighters wouldn't duck each other. The only substantial fight that didn't really happen that I know of was Riddick Bowe versus Lennox Lewis. And apparently, because Riddick Bowe said, and I talked to him, I interviewed him, he said because Lennox Lewis priced himself out of the fight, but I don't believe that because we saw footage of Riddick Bowe throwing his WBC belt in the trash can. Come on. And then I heard Lennox Lewis beat Riddick Bowe in the amateurs, so that was one of the fights that we didn't see. To this day, Kyle Smith said, Robert says, Klitschko had the chance to put AJ away and didn't take it. Wilder will go for the kill. F the haters. That's right. Now, we respect Anthony Joshua. We do. We respect him, but he don't want no smoke with that right hand. And if he takes the fight and he lasts more than 6-7 rounds, I'll commend him. I'll commend him. Straight up. Boy, they don't want that right hand. Boy, that's it. Sergio Martinez. Okay, I just blocked. It got blocked from the other channels. You can't criticize Wilder on the channel. Okay, that's fine. You can criticize Wilder, but criticize him within the context of the current heavyweights right now. Criticize him within that context. Excuse me, that context. You get what I'm saying? Like, question. Criticize him within the context of the current heavyweight division, how he matches up with the guys right now. If you criticize him in the sense that trying to take away from his performance, you can't really do that, because at the end of the day, the dude's knocked out 40 professional heavyweights. I don't care. Nobody knocks everybody out. But you can criticize him, and we can debate. And we can learn more about what the heck everybody thinks. Tyson in his prime versus Wilder, that's like a fight that you can't even like comprehend because it's such an interesting stylistic matchup, and it's almost like an imaginary fight because we don't know how each will react to each other. Like Mike Tyson might just stay too low for Wilder and just work to the body and then clip him with a shot upstairs, or Wilder might just keep him at the end of his jab for 12 rounds, and not even 12 rounds, he'll knock him out in like the 6th. We could never know. But Tyson was a beast. If it was up to me and I had to put money on it, that's crazy. I can't really say because I would say Tyson early or Deontay Wilder mid rounds, because Tyson could clip Wilder early and then the fight could be over within a second. But if Wilder weathers the storm and then catches him in the middle of the fight, that's how I think the fight would happen. But that's crazy. Fury beat Wilder, and Wilder knows it. Fury beat Wilder. He outboxed Wilder. He outboxed him, but he couldn't stay away from the power. And yes, the muscle on AJ is too much to be fascinating. It will slow him down as long as Wilder stays composed. It's over. He tells us in the interviews why he wasn't as easy tonight, was trying to kill on sight. Yeah, that's interesting you say that. Yeah, he was a little bit anxious against Fury, and that's against an elite boxer that Fury is. Mike Tyson versus Bruce Seldon remake, simple as that. Nuclear blast. In what context, nuclear? Because are you talking about Wilder versus Joshua? That would be the remake in the sense. Wilder ducking AJ, Mr. Pipe, bro, we don't believe that. So just stop. We know what it is. The right hand, ain't nobody want smoke. Now that fight would be nuts, probably first round, but for sure who would win on that? I'd say Tyson. OG Gamer thinks Tyson. Tyson cut from a different cloth, like back in the 80s and 90s. Like, people were built different, but people are built different now. More athletic, rangy, reflexive, reactive, and they hold the power. So that's only a fight we can imagine. Huge fan of both of them. Ahmad Ali, we're going to show your comment, but please try to refrain from any profanity. You think White would beat him? It's a good fight. Deontay Wilder versus Dillian Whyte's a good fight. Maybe because Dillian Whyte moves his head a little bit more, but I still think Wilder clips him, man. And you can't stay away from the right hand for 12 rounds. But that is a great fight, and I would definitely like to see that fight. But Dillian Whyte still, he needs a shot, man. Hopefully that fight happens. I want to see the fight too. Congrats to Wilder. Philly deserves a second chance. But Donna says, congrats to Wilder. Fury don't deserve a second chance. He was KO'd in the 12th, but yeah, I mean, I want to see the fight. I want to see the rematch. I mean, that's what heavyweight championship boxing is all about. AJ is a waste man. If AJ don't KO Wilder early, he will get knocked out because of his stamina will take a toll, says Robert. And I agree with you, Robert. I agree with you, man. The stamina, the conditioning, that makes a difference. Sergio Martinez says, I seen a couple empty seats in Barclays. Do you think that affects his 50-50 stance against Joshua, especially if Joshua sells out MSG? Interesting question. Good question. I don't really think so, man, because I feel like Deontay Wilder's stardom is intact because the people will go and watch the fight. Who cares about the empty seats? The people who are actually in the seats, they're fanatics. You know, they go and see this guy so he can knock people out. And I think as time goes on, I think Wilder gains more credibility to a 50-50 or even a 55-45 to a 60-40 split against Anthony Joshua because he has more defenses and because he brings more excitement to the sport. Right now, Anthony Joshua just came off a huge knockout performance against Povetkin, but who's been looking like the guy who is sharper? And I think that's Deontay Wilder. In other words, I don't think that split goes negative to Deontay's stake. Watch the interviews with Eddie explaining why Wilder's team blacklisted AJ. White will be out in second round, says Dana. Yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff went on through those negotiations. Like, the reason why the Wilder-Joshua fight didn't happen was a lot of reasons. And but you've heard Deontay Wilder say before the fight, the way that fight is going to be made is that when everything quiets down, nobody has an opinion, nobody's giving their input, there's not any more obstacles and distractions, they can sit down and make the fight happen. I just feel like the buzz of the Joshua Wilder fight, the potential of it happening, was too much within this last year and a half for it to actually get done. But it's built up to a point where Joshua wins by sensational fashion his next fight. Everything's aligning correctly. Everything's aligning for correct, you know? Sorry for language, but yeah, I don't know why people don't see the Wilder for being protected. He can have 43 fights and just be beating people like Breazeale, who Wilder was playing with in his 17th. Okay, I get what you're saying when you say in his 17th fight, he wasn't fighting any type of level of competition that Anthony Joshua was fighting. Yeah, in the context of their careers, from a timely manner in which they were built up, you can't compare. You can't compare both fighters because Anthony Joshua was more on a faster track in the sense that he was the guy who was going to take the crown, right? But in heavyweight championship boxing, there's no ducking. There's no, we're going to wait fights out. There's no nothing like that. Historically, in the 80s and 90s, fighters fought each other. So that's what I'm saying. We want to see the fight. It doesn't matter what position they're at in their career. Right now, who's the best? If you're the unified champion, you should be able to get in with the other champion in the division. Wouldn't you want to be undisputed? Deontay did well, but AJ's combos will overwhelm Wilder, says Ben Brown. The combination punching could be a Wilder downfall if AJ could get inside. But Wilder is a master at controlling distance and range, and he has the better reflexes and conditioning against Joshua. So those are the things I would throw at that argument. Although we haven't seen Wilder take more than one or two flush punches in a row. Nobody's ever been able to do that. Luis Ortiz was able to land a right hook and then follow it up with a left hand. But we haven't seen a consistent 1, 2, 3 landed on Wilder other than Fury. And Fury didn't have the power. Fury didn't have enough power to get him out of there. So there's a lot of ways this can go. I want to see the fight. I think Joshua would have to fight off the back foot a little bit more than what Breazeale tried to do today. I don't think Wilder's protected, man, because I think he wants smoke with people. Like, he wants smoke, bro. Like, how is he protected if he wants smoke, if he's calling fools out? But I mean, this is great for the sport of boxing. Everybody's talking about the fight now. Everybody's talking about the heavyweight division, wanting to see these historic, legendary fights. Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder is comparable and basically the same type of fight in significance historical wise as Evander Holyfield versus Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at it from a historical standpoint. Sure, you could criticize the guy based on his style, what he does or doesn't do, but from a historical perspective, he's aligning himself as one of the best to ever do it. And a fight against Joshua will cement one or the other's legacy. And it could be a fight where we both respect both of the fighters more. And that's what we want to see. Sergio Martinez, who is coming to the criticism Wilder, says, I like how Wilder, when he hurts his opponent, he lunges in and opens up to get knocked out. Could be a dangerous tactic. Breazeale caught him with a couple shots. Wilder is fun to watch. So Sergio, at least he admits that Wilder's fun to watch because he actually puts himself in the firing range, right? He puts himself in a position to get hit, right? Because he wants to hit his guy. He wants to take his man out. So Sergio, you're actually a fan of his. But I would agree with you. He does put himself in vulnerable positions. But who has made him pay other than Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury made him pay in spots and basically outboxed him. But he didn't do enough to win the fight, obviously. Everybody's going to tune into Wilder to see if he gets caught. But he's the one doing the damage. OG Gamer says, crazy thing is, this wasn't even a pay-per-view and was better than pay-per-view events I purchased. What a great point, man. Salute to that, for real. I'm paying $20 for DAZN, and I can't even get in a fight that just puts me in awe like that. Like, Canelo Alvarez's performance was pretty clinical. I thought he showed some nice Mayweather-esque moves in the fight. But that's, like I said before, Mayweather, he's great for the sport, and his technical ability is unmatched. But what really draws people to the seats is knockout power. And Deontay Wilder, he's a man. And he's a guy you can cheer for. He's a guy it's hard to cheer against, man. If you're cheering against Deontay Wilder, it's because there's something wrong with you. It's not, Elliot Dawkins says it's not about what you earned before. That's a mentality of knowing the price of all and value of nothing. Lots about paid correct for, I'm not sure what Elliot's trying to say, but maybe fix the typos there. Wilder looked better at 223. Thought he looked too light for both Ortiz and Fury. I would agree with you, Count Draco. Because I think Wilder, he was putting out too much energy going into the Ortiz fight, as far as like proving that he was the best, and like he was doing so many interviews with so much passion, and that exerts a lot of energy. Like, this might sound crazy, but he went into that fight basically trying so hard to prove to the world that he's the best in the world, and that's why I feel like he came in light. Came in at like 209 or 214, something like that. Hold on, let me get some water, yo. I'm dying over here. My bad, my bad. Yo, my bad, my bad. Oh, damn. I just spilled some good stuff, too. I was just talking about how, like, the negotiations, like, we've been waiting for 2 years for the fight. I don't really want to talk about the negotiations. Like, they need to get in the room and fix that within themselves. As far as the boxing fans, we can comment and give our criticisms and thoughts about what happens in the ring, you know, stylistically, like, you know, criticize that, talk about that. But when it comes to the negotiations, we really don't have a place for it because we don't know the numbers. We don't know the analytics, all that stuff to our disposal. Like, we don't have that, so we can't really comment on it with the right education, you know what I'm saying? So, like, they can figure that out on their own, but it needs to happen, and there needs to be a demand for it. So when the fight fans bring that up, that's good, because we need to put pressure on these dudes. Make the fight happen. Let's go. My bad on the mic fix. But yeah, man, we're just here talking. Deontay Wilder, he puts some more excitement in the heavyweight division once again. He's a type of fighter that he just, man, like, it never ceases to amaze you, his power. And it's your boy Young Cantu. I feel like I've said enough tonight, and we've kind of analyzed most things, but thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We're gonna start coming out with some more live streams, and I got one of my homies that I play college football with. We're gonna do an NFL show coming up in the fall, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We're gonna be breaking down the upcoming weeks matchups in NFL football, talk about our top performers, some of the underdogs and under the radar teams we might like, dark horses, and all that stuff NFL. So this is Airshow Sports. Make sure you stay tuned. We talk about all sports here. It's your boy Young Cantu. You can follow me at Airshow15. But I'm signing off now. I'll read one more comment from Mr. Pipe. It says the AJ Wilder fight will happen. Will never happen. Wilder's team blacklisted AJ because after the fight, Wilder becomes irrelevant. Bro, you're not living in reality, bro. The fight's gonna happen, and when it does, Anthony Joshua is getting knocked out. Peace.